Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, DuckMachine, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Feudic Jarl, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Mist. Thank you very much. Story number 1. The Old Man, written by PhilattheGame. The bar immediately became dead silent as the old human came in. All eyes followed him as he slowly made his way to the bar. The little bartender and Usso cautiously moved in front of the man. "Well, what can I get you?" he inquired. The old man looked back and forth from the different drinks, then scratched his scraggly beard. "Got any earth whiskey?" he asked. "Sorry, we've never had a human here before, so I don't think we have any earth drinks." The man grunted. The bartender immediately shrunk back, not knowing what the grunt meant, 'cause you never know what might set a human off. The old man only lifted an eyebrow and then said, "I will take another Marquensen ale then." The bartender recovered and quickly retrieved the required drink. "Thanks," the old man said, and placed the required chips on the counter. He turned around to look for a spot to sit. The assembled life forms quickly looked away, worried that they might offend the dangerous human. The man chuckled to himself as he made his way towards one of the tables next to the window. A female flax and some Isoras sat around said table. They all became stiff as the old man came up to them. "I see you have an extra seat. Wondering if I can have it." The flax's eyes became slits as her feline head tilted to one side. "The chair is not ours to say yes or no." The old man laughed and sat in the chair. With one finger, he propped off the tap of the ale and took a long pull. Everyone watched with mouths agape. One shot glass of the ale could render most in the bar hopelessly drunk, and this man had just drained half the bottle. "How?" one of the Isoras sputtered. "What?" the man eloquently responded. The Isoras indicated the drink. "What? This? Hell, I could chug 10 drinks like this when I was a young man. Hell, most earth beers have similar alcohol content." He laughed aloud. Seeing how at ease the man was, emboldened the other Isoras. "Human, is it true that your species used to be chemical propellant to achieve space travel?" one asked. Yep, he said with a wistful look in his eyes. "Wow," the others replied. "And is it true that you jump out of flying craft for no reason, with only fabric attached by strings?" "Oh yeah, some people I used to know still do it today," the old man chuckled. "Oh, that's crazy. Why?" another asked. "It's fun." "Fun?" all the Isoras echoed. "Oh yeah, loads of fun," he confirmed. They were all stunned. In the following silence, the flax quietly spoke up. "Is it true that when the Grong invaded this sector of space, and no one could stop them, you humans took it upon yourselves to board their ships in little boarding pods and fight them on their own ground?" The old man got quiet and stared down into his drink. The others at the table grew nervous. Then they noticed the tears starting to roll down the human's cheeks. With a seemingly great ceremony, he reached over to his right arm and unbuttoned his sleeve. With great care, he rolled up his sleeve. Starting 2 inches from his wrist, a scar ran all the way up to his elbow. It was so deep everyone was amazed that he still could use his hand. But he kept rolling his sleeve up. On the upper arm was tattooed numerous names, all surrounded by 2 words, Semper Fi. He ran his fingers over the names. "Yeah, we did," he finally said. He took his ale in his hand and lifted it up to the ceiling. "We rode in metal steeds into the valley of death. Cannons to the right of us and cannons to the left of us. We charged on into the valley of death. We boarded those ships and fought them, and many a lad and lass lost their lives. But we kept charging into the valley of death." With tears coursing down his face, the old man drained his drink. Everyone stared openly at the human. He rolled his sleeve back down, wiped his tears with his sleeve, and buttoned it back together. Then he smiled and said, "Hurrah, Marines!" The bartender approached carrying another ale. The old man reached into his pocket to retrieve the chips, but the Flax placed the required chips on the table. You humans are so barbaric sometimes, but if there's one thing I've learned, we count on you. End of story. Story number 2. Humans are technicians. Written by salmonellatuna. Welcome to the UDEST, the Universal Data Station Terminal. Your current language is Human Universal. Please input your user info to proceed. Login, Tazzlefont432. Password, Bernet Penard. Welcome user, please input your data you wish to access. ACCADL translate UI 13 by 10 to the power of 9. Accessing. Access complete. All 4,649,210,694,888,002 connected voice data logs. Translated to current terminal language. Available for citizens. Are available for access. Please input data log name for access. If unsure, use keywords or scroll through the data on the tablet provided. OpenSimp Armor Cannon Prototype Logs 1 and 2. Opening data log 834.311.143.08432.107.10 to the power of 9. Simple name, Armor Cannon Prototype Logs 1 and 2 by Dr. Gene Mensa of Research and Development. Hello there, my name is Dr. Gene Mensa, and I am making this data log to talk about the prototype of the new Armor Cannon, a human adaptation of the Benzite cannon of the Varenza origin. Now, in order to actually create this prototype, I decided to ask a friend for one of the Benzite cannons. They weigh approximately 500 pounds, are 5 feet by 3 feet by 4 feet, and have an opening for a more claw-like appendage. Clearly, a human would have some difficulty wielding it. The first prototype of the armor's cannon weighs about 100 pounds, fits onto the forearm, and has a readjustable armrest inside to pull the trigger, with a hole that matches the human arms much better. The original design of the Benzite cannon was to integrate charged weaponry into a body without turning it into a machine. This prototype attempts to faithfully recreate it as best it can. I will be sending it for testing now. Please hold. It has been about 5 hours since the first test of Armor's Cannon prototype. The blast radius was decreased by a fifth, most likely due to the difference in size of the weapon and fuel core. The charge time was reduced from 10.65 seconds to 7.54 seconds. It was also more efficient, with it able to fire 6 blasts before overheating instead of the Benzite Cannon's 3. It also cooled down faster, with the cooldown time going from 25 seconds to a mere 15. With this, I can say that my Armor's Cannon is a weaker, yet more efficient version of the Benzite Cannon that is more suited for human use. More information to come. This is Dr. Gene Mensa testing my Armor's Cannon Prototype 2. With me is my friend and the one who gave me the Benzite Cannon to study. His name is Velas Bonacco. Yes, to what do I owe the pleasure of being in your lab, Jane? Still can't get the name right, huh? Anyway, when I told you about my Armor's Cannon, you were shocked. Is that right? Yes, sir. It took many years before we figured out how to properly use the Varenzian crystals as fuel for the Benzite cannon without our arm getting blown off. Yet you managed to create your own version in 2 weeks. It was an interesting find. Yes, well, it's remarkably easy to do when you have the general idea and the model right in front of you. Moving on, I created a second prototype for the Armor's Cannon, but I also thought on recreating the Benzite Cannon, but as a more efficient model. Interesting. Is that why you have called for me? Yes, actually. I need you to look at a new model of the Benzite Cannon. It is still the same size, but I made it out of tungsten steel instead of byzantinite. It should have the same durability, and it has a higher melting point and should weigh 75 pounds less. It has a darker color as well. Yeah, that's the tungsten. I also noticed that the tachyon charge drive that you used was a bit outdated, so I changed it to something a bit more practical. Now, instead of the charged laser being blasted out when the tachyonic particles supercharge the barrel, It should be released upon a sufficient energy charge that can be determined via the knob on the side of the cannon. It should be at least 25% more efficient as well. While it is still quite an achievement that you did, the design no longer resembles that of the Verenze's Pride. Yes, I had to shift the design to make it more efficient without limiting the cannon much. Very well. How about the Armor's Cannon? The Armor's Cannon is yet smaller still, now able to simply just be latched onto the forearm. The entire hand is covered by the cannon's head, which is also coincidentally where the weapon fires. Dr. Munster, what is the point of a small design? It doesn't even look like there is room to fire. Well, the design is meant to make it easy to use for humans, thus making it small and light. The firing mechanism is still inside the cannon, in the palm of your hand. All one has to do is squeeze the hand on the trigger and the weapon will charge up. Simply release the trigger to fire. If you like, it could also be used as a blunt instrument. I do believe that you've talked enough, Doctor. Should we take these to the testing area? Right. I'll be right back with the results. Okay, so the testing just finished. Yes, it has. The Armor's Cannon is certainly lighter and weaker as well. The charge time was now just reduced to 2.7 seconds, but the blast is a tenth of the original strength. It can fire hundreds of shots before overheating and, well, we stopped it before it overheated, so we don't know how long it takes to overheat. Well, that's fine. The new Benzite cannon was a great improvement. It was more comfortable on my arm. The charge time was 8.65 seconds, and it fired 10 shots before needing to cool down for 20 seconds. This is on the maximum energy setting too. Well, I guess that's all. The rest of the details will be in my written report. To those who listen to this, I'd like to tell you one thing. Don't try and shoot each other with the cannons. The tachyon charge blasts are a bit intense. Goodbye. Hey, you want to go get some fries? Data log ended. Log out. Logging out. Thank you for using the Universal Data Station Terminal. User, please rate us with your form printed below and drop it off at the nearest review box. We do hope to see you soon. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope